This video is going to go over an INTJ's second cognitive function, extroverted thinking, or TE for short. Extroverted thinking in the Myers-Briggs community has a negative reputation, but as with most things in the community, is based off of a negative stereotype that doesn't represent fully what extroverted thinking is. For non-TE users or types that has TE lower in their stack, extroverted thinking might seem scary, but to an INTJ, where TE is just as natural as breathing, who has seen every single side of extroverted thinking is very extreme, but is also very patient. Extroverted thinking is not only aggressive, but is also very kind. Everything that an INTJ accomplished in their life has some form of TE magic sprinkled on top of it. From all the achievements that we have or will achieve, to all the friendships that we have built and are currently maintaining, extroverted thinking is usually what's taking the lead. So extroverted thinking is taking charge every time an INTJ is working on a project, and extroverted thinking is absent every time an INTJ is sad or depressed. When a person thinks about INTJs, they usually think about NI. But when a person actually knows an INTJ, they feel TE. So this video is an appreciation video for extroverted thinking. I'll explain how extroverted thinking affects the daily life of an INTJ, and why we'll be nowhere without it. Before I begin this video, I'm going to make the assumption that you already know what extroverted thinking is, that it's a cognitive function of the INTJ. And if you don't know what cognitive functions are, I created a short video describing the INTJ cognitive functions, and I'll link that below. There are plenty of videos out there that describes extroverted thinking in more in-depth detail, but the purpose of this video is to humanize extroverted thinking. Lastly, I'm going to use the term high FI and low FI. All that means is where it appears on a person's stack. If extroverted thinking appears in your first or second stack, then you're a high TE user. So an INTJ, ENTJ, ISTJ, or ESTJ. And if you're a low TE user, it's in the bottom of your stack. That's all it means. There's no other hidden meaning. All right. Let's begin. Extroverted thinking is the second cognitive function for an INTJ, which means that it has just as much control over an INTJ as NI does. It's also our first extroverted function, which is easy for people to notice because majority of the time we use it to engage with the world. You know the stereotypes of INTJs being robots? It's because of TE. I personally see every cognitive function as a member of a single family. So for this video and the rest of my career, I will refer to extroverted thinking as Mama TE, because just like my real life mom, I'm afraid to disappoint Mama TE. Mama TE is the family member that won't allow you to go out and play unless you get your chores done first. Mama TE is also the family member that will continue pushing you because they are aware of your capabilities and they won't let you settle for anything less than the best. And Mama TE is the family member that will go grab you McDonald's just to cheer you up because she notices that you're not feeling well that day. Not only does TE expect a lot from an INTJ, but Mama TE loves an INTJ deeply. To an INTJ, using extroverted thinking is common sense because that's just how we naturally engage with the world. It is our default decision-making function. And this applies to everything, whether it's a project, a goal, or a relationship. Extroverted thinking gathers empirical data, weighs out the pros and cons, and choose the best decision based off the situation that we're in. A lot of the times, our decisions steer towards efficiency and effectiveness. Will this solution work, and will it fix the problem right now? TE users tend to be a bit more organized compared to the rest of the types because we enjoy building systems. Because the result of having an efficient system is speed and efficiency. That natural mindset is typically why TE users have an easier time climbing the corporate ladder, because that mentality is usually sought out for leadership positions. But to a TE user, not all systems are valued the same. If a system doesn't make sense, we're either going to improve it or completely replace it. High TE users naturally value order because we see the benefit in it, but we're not going to follow a system if it's dumb or it's inefficient. That mentality manifests itself in many different ways. On the extreme side of the spectrum, INTJs tend not to be libertarians because we understand that without any type of governance, the world will lead to chaos. And on the lesser side of the spectrum, every tangible item, such as a pencil at home, has a proper place to live. Everything such as a pencil has a place because if we need a pencil, we know exactly where to go to grab it and then get our work done so that we can work on something else. Efficiency and effectiveness. But those two things aren't the only thing that drives extroverted thinking. TE has a need for accomplishments, regardless of how minuscule the results might be. And I'm going to repeat that last sentence because if you're watching this video and you're a non-TE user or you have low TE, that sentence might go over your head. Extroverted thinking needs to accomplish tasks. It's not we want to accomplish tasks. It's not we're hoping to accomplish tasks. We must accomplish tasks or we feel useless. High TE users have a mental daily checklist, and unless we make good progress on it, we're not going to be able to relax. That's why when you're partnering with a high TE user, it seems as if we're doing a lot or doing too much, because in a sense we are. But in our head, it doesn't feel like we're doing enough. And when we're working with other people, it always feels like they're not doing enough. So the positive side of having high TE is that we get more work done quicker comparatively to other types, but the negative side of it is that we are unable to relax unless we make good progress. And I'll provide some real life examples later in this video. The final point about TE that I think most people overlook is that TE actually cares about people. For any type that has extroverted thinking, TE is the function that we use to show that we care. Most people refuse to acknowledge extroverted thinking as a caring function because it's tough love compared to its sister function, extroverted feeling. But both function wants the same thing, they just approach it differently. And before I get into this next section, I feel like I have to say this. If you're using the word fake to describe extroverted feeling, you're absolutely wrong. Yes, extroverted feeling can seem fake. Yes, extroverted feeling can be fake. But it's the same thing as extroverted thinking. Extroverted feeling can manipulate emotions. Extroverted thinking can manipulate data or choose to ignore data. We can both be fake, so it's wrong to call extroverted feeling fake. In regards to the sisterly relationship, this is the biggest difference. Extroverted feeling is the sister that everyone loves being around because she validates other people's emotions. Whereas extroverted thinking is a sister that people like being around because she'll help fix people's problems. FE validates people's emotions so that they become emotionally stable. TE fixes the problem so that person can become emotionally stable. They both have the same objective, just different approaches. And the reason why TE has so much hate online is because the people that are the most vocal are typically the people with victim mentality. They think FE's an angel and TE's the devil. Mama TE doesn't play that game. Extroverted thinking's love language is acts of service, but if you're an adult and we have to treat you like a child, we don't have room for that. We're not going to spend time with you unless you're part of our FI. That might sound harsh, but that's the truth. You are a waste of our time. After that brief description of extroverted thinking, it probably sounds like it's very difficult to have high TE because it's always on the go and it expects so much from the INTJ. But to an INTJ, the word that best describes what it means to have high TE is that it's comforting. Comforting knowing that anything we do will be efficient and effective. Comforting knowing that we're going to take care of our loved ones. No matter what gets in our way, we're going to still take care of them. Comforting knowing that an INTJ is an unstoppable force and we can accomplish anything that we put our mind to when we're at our best. And comforting knowing that when we're at our worst, we'll figure out a way to crawl our way out of it and we'll eventually become the normal go-getter INTJ as usual. An INTJ with a highly developed extroverted thinking can handle any situation that's thrown at us. What is more comforting than that? Extroverted thinking is one of INTJ's parent functions. So imagine an INTJ toddler at the park having the time of her life, and we're having the time of our life because we know Mama TE is there to watch us and keep us safe. Mama TE will take care of us if we hurt ourselves or bruise our knee. And Mama TE will make sure we get home safely whenever we're tired or bored. Mama TE makes sure that we're comfortable so the INTJ can live our life. But Mama T is also that loud parent that makes sure we get our work done. For an INTJ, we have dominant introverted intuition. So when we wake up for the day, all we really want to do is just lay in bed and just think about stuff, be in our imagination. But Mama TE will get progressively louder in our head the longer we stay in bed. INTJ, get up and do your homework. INTJ, get up and do the dishes. INTJ, get up and work on your YouTube channel. Honestly, extrovert thinking is annoying most of the time, but it produces positive results. I can't go out and have fun with my friends unless I make good progress on my homework, because when I'm out in town, all I will be thinking about is the homework. But because I have made progress, when I come back, there's less to do. I can't go to sleep unless my clothes are folded and put away properly. But when I wake up, I'll have a lot less things to stress about. I can't relax too long after getting promoted to the director level, because my original dream has always been to be a CEO, and it's only a few steps away. Mama TE loves an INTJ, but she really does expect a lot out of us. The MBTI community attributes an INTJ being the mastermind that wants to conquer the world to our introverted intuition. But in actuality, NI only came up with the idea. TE is the reason why we're implementing it. The combination of NI and TE is what makes an INTJ unstoppable. Let's take a moment and talk about the dynamic of those two functions. INTJs are notorious for being so caught up on a project that we lose track of time. INTJs have cram sessions where we're extremely productive for hours. It's because NI see all these possibilities and narrows it down to a likely possibility, and the INTJ is going to do everything that we can to make sure that that possibility is our reality. So when extrovert thinking hears about NI's plan, it takes a plan, refines it, and executes on it. And the INTJ can't relax until we get to a spot that we're proud of. But NI is constantly adjusting the plan based off of all the information we received by all the progress that we made. And TE is constantly refining that plan. And the INTJ is not able to relax until we get to a part that we're proud of. Guys, do you see why we're so productive? It's because NI and TE has no chill. But that's only how TE engages the INTJ, because it's aware of our limitations and capabilities. When other people are involved, TE is a lot more gentle. And if you think we're harsh with you, you have no idea how TE talks to an INTJ. And for INTJs watching this video who are unaware, TE might be rough for us, but extroverted thinking is the reason why we accomplish so much, and also the reason why we're so loved by many. Extroverted thinking is how an INTJ shows that we care. When it comes down to the topic of an INTJ dealing with other people, SE engages people, but TE takes care of people. And here are a few examples. If we're at the store Target and you mention that you don't have bed sheets, I'm buying you bed sheets. If we're at a party and there's not enough food, I'm either gonna split the food with you or you're eating what I have. If you mention that something's broken in your car or your house and you don't have the tools to fix it, I'm either buying you the tools or I'm bringing my tools over and I'm gonna help you fix that problem. If you mention that there's a genre of music that you're new to but you actually like, I'm gonna send you a bunch of lists of songs so that you continue that journey. If you mention that you've always been interested in yoga but you've never taken classes, I'm gonna sign both of us up for classes so that you get to experience it and that you get to experience it without feeling like you're alone. If we're hanging out that night and you said you're gonna be DD, but I know you had a hard day at work, I'll volunteer to be the sober one to drive us home so that you can drink and have a good time. If we're at a concert and you mention that there's a merch that you like, but they're sold out, I'm gonna scour the internet to make sure that you get that merch. If we're dating and I notice you had a bad day, I'll make sure to throw you on the couch, put a blanket on you, turn on your favorite TV show, I'll walk the dog, and make sure we order from your favorite restaurant. The key takeaway in this section is that the INTJ really does care about people, and we show that we care through extroverted thinking. And the truth about being a thinker that most feelers have to understand is that I would rather buy you a new house or buy you a new car than to have to deal with you emotionally. It is so uncomfortable. Counterintuitively, the more an INTJ develops TE, the more patient we become, which is one of the reasons why INTJs don't seem to freak out much. We do freak out, but not as much as other types. TE has the ability to take a step back and actually assess the situation for what it is and then devise a plan. That's why as an INTJ or ISTJ, we hear this a lot. People are naturally comfortable around us because we are patient with them. Because again, having extroverted thinking means we care about people and we want to be efficient, and being patient with people accomplishes that. But on the other side of the spectrum, TE makes it difficult to engage with people because we're a lot more factual. INTJs need people to lay out clearly what they expect from us because we don't know how to engage with them if they don't tell us. So it's very easy for an INTJ to dismiss things if we don't think it's relevant in fixing the project, aka feelings. It is so easy for an INTJ to dismiss valid claims if it shows any hint of emotions. And when I say valid, I'm talking about any project that has a hint of humanity, because if it has a human aspect to it, emotions are valid. It took me forever to get this way, but I finally acknowledged that feeling needs to be considered on a lot of topics, even though I would never fully understand it. That's the reason why high TE users have a difficult time connecting with people emotionally. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. So as a TE user, TE is how we show love, but that's also the reason why people feel distant from us and why we feel distant from other people. Because as a TE user, we expect people to be clear with their intentions. We expect people to be very vocal on what they expect from us, but that's not how some people operate. Human connections happen through emotions and not actions. So as an INTJ, sometimes you feel underappreciated because you're focusing full on TE mode and not FI. You haven't built that emotional connection. It's because we completely ignore the emotional aspect of that exchange. And for all you younger INTJs watching this video, I learned that lesson the hard way. Acknowledging this truth will save you years, if not decades, of pain and loneliness. Human connection happens through emotions and not actions. So extroverted sensing for an INTJ loves everyone indiscriminately, but forgets to follow up with people to build an emotional connection. Introverted intuition doesn't really care much for this world that we live in and is just off in its imagination. And introverted feeling is so focused on itself that it's just hiding from the world. Extroverted thinking forces the INTJ to connect with people and to take care of them to the best of our ability. TE is the reason why an INTJ accomplishes so much and the reason why we're so adored. INTJs get complimented a lot on our usage of NI, but an INTJ is also aware that we would be nowhere without Mama TE. Because an INTJ know that when Mama's out, we can't function. But the moment that Mama TE returns, we are an unstoppable force. And that's the end of this video, folks. Don't forget to support this channel by leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. I love having discussions, so please leave anything that you could think of in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you very much for making it to the end of this video. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.